Something extraordinary just happened in the United States House of Representatives that has sent shockwaves through Washington and through the financial markets simultaneously. Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, who has staked his political identity and his speakership entirely on loyalty to Donald Trump and the MAGA agenda, just shut down a vote. Not just any vote, a vote that could have directly addressed the catastrophic market losses that have been wiping trillions of dollars off the value of American investments, retirement accounts, and financial portfolios, while ordinary Americans watch their financial security evaporate in real time. The collision between political dysfunction in Washington and economic pain on Main Street has never felt more immediate or more consequential than it does right now. And the decision by MAGA Mike Johnson to block a vote that could have provided some relief, or at minimum sent a signal to markets that Congress is paying attention and is prepared to act, is a decision that demands explanation, accountability, and the full attention of every American who has a retirement account, a pension, a savings plan, or any financial stake in the health of the American economy. Let us break down exactly what happened, why Johnson shut it down, what trillions in losses actually means for real people, and what this moment reveals about the state of the Republican Party and its ability to govern. The market losses we are talking about are not abstract Wall Street numbers that only affect hedge fund managers and billionaires. They are losses that have rippled through the retirement accounts of tens of millions of ordinary Americans. When the stock market drops by the kind of percentages we have been seeing in recent weeks, the impact is felt in 401k accounts, in pension funds, in the college savings plans that parents have been building for years, and in the investments that retirees depend on for their monthly income. A market that loses trillions in value is a market that is telling ordinary American families that their financial futures are less secure today than they were yesterday. The trigger for much of this market volatility has been the tariff policies being implemented by the Trump administration. Investors and businesses operate on predictability. They make decisions about where to invest, where to expand, and where to hire based on their assessment of what the economic environment is going to look like in the future. When tariff policy shifts dramatically and unpredictably, when trading partners respond with retaliatory measures, and when the fundamental structure of global trade that businesses have built their operations around is suddenly thrown into question, the uncertainty that results is toxic to market confidence. Markets hate uncertainty above almost anything else, and the combination of aggressive tariff policies and an administration that has signaled willingness to escalate trade conflicts regardless of market consequences has created precisely the kind of deep uncertainty that produces exactly the kind of losses we have been witnessing. Congress has tools at its disposal to address this situation. The legislative branch has constitutional authority over trade policy. The tariffs being imposed by the executive branch derive their legal authority from statutes passed by Congress, and Congress has the ability to reassert that authority to pass legislation limiting or constraining the executive branch's tariff powers, or at minimum, to send a signal to markets that elected representatives are exercising oversight over an economic policy that is generating significant damage. Several senators from both parties have been working on legislation to do exactly that. There has been bipartisan interest in bills that would require congressional approval for certain tariff actions, that would create oversight mechanisms for executive trade decisions, or that would, in other ways, reassert Congress's constitutional role in trade and commerce with foreign nations. The framers of the Constitution were explicit in this assignment of authority, and the degree to which that authority has been delegated to the executive branch over the decades has itself been a subject of significant legal and constitutional debate. The vote that Johnson shut down was connected to this broader effort to address the tariff situation and its economic consequences. The decision to block the vote was not made on procedural or technical grounds. It was a political decision. It was a decision to protect the Trump administration from a congressional rebuke at a moment of significant economic vulnerability. It was a decision to put loyalty to the executive branch above the independent judgment of the legislative branch and above the economic interests of the American people whose financial well-being is being affected by the policies that the blocked vote would have addressed. That decision reveals something important and troubling about where the Republican Party and its congressional leadership currently stand. A functioning legislature and a healthy constitutional democracy does not simply rubber stamp executive branch decisions regardless of their consequences. It exercises independent judgment. It represents the interests of its constituents. It uses the tools the Constitution gives it to check executive power when that power is being exercised in ways that cause harm. When the Speaker of the House shuts down a vote because allowing that vote to proceed might embarrass or constrain the president of his own party, he is not doing his constitutional job. He is acting as a political operative for the executive branch rather than as the leader of an independent branch of government. The political calculations behind Johnson's decision are not difficult to understand. His speakership depends on Trump's support. He has a razor-thin majority in the House that requires near-unanimous Republican support to function. Members who break with Trump on a high-profile vote risk primary challenges, social media attacks, and the loss of donor support that comes with being seen as insufficiently loyal to the MAGA agenda. In that environment, the path of least resistance is always to find a way to avoid the vote, rather than to allow it to happen and risk a result that creates political friction with the White House. But least resistance is not the same as right, and the costs of Johnson's political calculations are being paid not by him, but by the tens of millions of Americans whose retirement savings are declining in value while their congressional representatives refuse to exercise the oversight authority the Constitution explicitly gives them. The reaction to Johnson's decision to shut down the vote was sharp and immediate from multiple directions. Democrats uniformly condemned it as an abdication of congressional responsibility and a prioritization of Trump loyalty over the economic well-being of American families. But the criticism did not come only from the Democratic side. Several Republican senators and a smaller number of House Republicans have expressed frustration privately and in some cases publicly about the unwillingness of congressional leadership to exercise any meaningful oversight over executive branch economic policy. The tension between the instinct to support the president and the obligation to represent constituents who are watching their financial security erode is a tension that Republican members of Congress are feeling acutely right now. The specific number of trillions lost matters because it brings the abstract question of market performance into concrete human terms. When financial analysts and news organizations report that markets have lost a specific number of trillions in value, that number represents real money that belonged to real people. It represents the retirement savings of teachers, nurses, factory workers, and small business owners. It represents the college funds that parents have been building for their children for years. It represents the financial cushion that families depend on to weather economic emergencies. Trillions is not an abstraction. It is the aggregate of millions of individual financial realities, and each of those realities represents a real family dealing with a real decline in their financial security. The contrast between what is happening to ordinary Americans financially and the decision by congressional leadership to shut down a vote that might have addressed some of that damage is a contrast that cuts to the heart of the question of who Washington is actually working for. A Congress that allows trillions in losses to accumulate while blocking votes that might provide relief or oversight is a Congress that has lost sight of its fundamental obligation to the people it represents. Johnson's defenders would argue that the economic situation is complex, that tariff policy involves legitimate strategic considerations that go beyond short-term market reactions, and that Congress undermining executive branch trade policy in the middle of an ongoing negotiation with trading partners would be counterproductive and harmful to the ultimate outcome. These arguments deserve to be taken seriously because they reflect real policy considerations. Trade negotiations are genuinely complex. Sending mixed signals from Washington can complicate diplomatic and economic negotiations. There are real trade-offs involved in any congressional action on trade policy. But those arguments do not fully justify shutting down a vote. They might justify a deliberate, careful legislative process with hearings, expert testimony, and thorough debate about the right way for Congress to exercise its oversight role. What they do not justify is simply blocking a vote to protect the president from congressional accountability. The difference between careful deliberation and political suppression of oversight is a difference that matters enormously in a constitutional democracy. The American economy is in a period of significant stress. Markets are volatile, businesses are uncertain, families are worried, and the Speaker of the House just shut down a vote that could have been part of the congressional response to that stress. The people who will pay the price for that decision are not the politicians in Washington who made it. They are the ordinary Americans watching their retirement accounts and their financial futures take the hit. MAGA Mike shut it down. Trump lost trillions, and the people left holding the bag are the working Americans who were promised something very different from this.